Never worry about passing another nursing school exam ever again. Head over to simplenursing.com/YouTube to join for free. Hey nursing students, I know that preparing for the NCLEX can be downright stressful, especially with all those new scary NGN style questions. But don't worry, today I'm going to break down each question style type so that you know exactly how to best tackle them during your NCLEX exam. With each NGN style, we will also work on an example together to test your knowledge and to get comfortable with the new process. You see, the new generation NCLEX, or simply the NGN, has 6 different styles of question. These include drag and drop down, multiple choice, multiple response, highlight, and even bow tie style questions. And each style of questions has additional subcategories. Now I know it can be very scary, so let's break down each one. So let's start with the first style, drag and drop. For any drag and drop type NGN question, you can remove your answer by dragging it back to the answer choice list. If you add a new answer choice on top of another answer choice, well then the original answer will get sent back to the answer choice list. But wait, what is a cloze item? A cloze item type is a fill-in-the-blank question where you fill in the missing word in response to a blank box in the text. We're simply filling in the blanks here. In these questions, there can be 1 or more response targets to drag to. There can be a range from 4 to 10 answer choices to drag to response targets. So here's an example of a cloze item. In this question, we have to drag words from the choices below to fill in each blank in the following sentence. The problem is repositioning the client immediately following a tonsillectomy. So for the solution, before looking at the options, think about safety. What do you know about a tonsillectomy? Well, remember, tonsillectomy is in the back of the throat, so we have to protect the airway. So number 1, position the client onto their side. And number 2, allow blood to drain out of the mouth instead of down the back of the throat. Okay, now let's look at the question. The client has been repositioned correctly if the LPN places the client in a blank position, with most of the body weight borne by the lateral aspect of the blank. Okay, now for the word choices. So the first thing we're looking for is placing the client on their side, right? So in option 1, this would be incorrect. Lithotomy position places the client on their back. Huge aspiration risk, or basically choking risk. What about the next option? The lateral side. Yes, this improves airway patency, so blood drains out of the mouth instead of down the throat. What about the next option here? Lateral ileum. Well, this one's also correct. It ensures safe distribution of the client's weight and protects the airway. Now, the last few options are incorrect because going supine places the client on their back and could compromise the airway as blood drains down the throat. Also, the dorsal recumbent position is contraindicated. It places the client on their back once again. Now, the last option is incorrect because the cranium position, this is weird, if the client is on their back, weight distribution would rest on the cranium, which is not a good thing, and it could also compromise the airway. Now, moving on to the next style of drag and drop question, the rationale item type question. This includes 1 sentence with 1 cause and 1 effect, or 1 sentence with 1 cause and 2 effects. Oh my gosh. These questions will either appear with 1 sentence and 2 response targets, or 1 sentence and 3 targets. So let me show you what I mean in this next example. The question is asking us to complete the following sentence by choosing from the list of options. The problem here is a transfusion reaction. So for the solution, before looking at the options here, always think of the data presented in the scenario. So we see fever, we see hives, as well as wheezing, the inflammation in the lungs. So we got to be thinking anaphylaxis with that airway constriction. So let's walk through the question. The nurse identifies that the client is most likely experiencing blank transfusion reaction based on blank. So now let's look at the options here. The nurse identifies that the client is most likely experiencing blank. Well, anaphylactic reaction is the correct choice because the wheezing and shortness of breath. Remember, this is just simply a severe allergic reaction. Now, it's not going to be a febrile reaction because that would include increased temperature in several types. And it's not going to be a hemolytic reaction because the client would present with low back pain and low blood pressure. All right, so we chose the anaphylactic reaction. Now, what is this based on? Let's look at the clinical findings. Well, is it going to be a fever? Well, we can have a fever with several types of reactions, so it's not the best choice. But wheezing is the best choice. Simply think of a full-blown allergic reaction. We're going to see airway constriction. That is the most classic sign. Now, the last one here is hives. This one's super non-specific and can indicate mild or severe allergic reactions. So that's not the best choice. All right, so the correct answer here is the nurse identifies the client as most likely experiencing an anaphylactic blood transfusion reaction based on the wheezing. Thanks for watching today's video. Remember to type simplenursing.com/YouTube into your search bar and join well over 1 million students hacking their nursing school system.